The happiest people on earth are not at Disneyland. They're not at the lottery winning pickup office. They're not at the championship game of their sporting team. The happiest people on the earth are those who have made peace with God. At least they should be. At least when you look at the life of Jesus and when you look at his most important teaching, his most famous teaching, the happiest people on earth should be those people who have made peace with God, and therefore everything in their life flows from that peace or is built on the foundation of that peace. And in fact, in Matthew chapter 5, which we call the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus starts this sermon by giving us a bunch of how-to happy statements, how to be happy. We translate it blessed. Jesus used the word makarios, which means blissfully happy or self-contained happiness. In other words, the happiness that he was talking about didn't depend on the price of the fish market in his day or the stock market in our day. The happiness of those people didn't depend on who the emperor was or who sits in the White House. Jesus was saying there are some very practical things that you as a Jesus follower can do to ensure your happiness and to make sure that it can't be stolen, make sure that it doesn't depend on anyone or anything. And when it's based on making peace with God, you just can't lose that happiness. The things around you may crumble and there may be crisis and there may be struggles and there may be issues, but you can still have this self-contained happiness when you understand what Jesus was saying, what Jesus wants for his people. He said, "Happy are those who are poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God." He was saying people just acknowledge and embrace that they have a deep, desperate need for God every day. And then Jesus said, "Happy are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." He was just saying, happy are those who recognize that death is a part of life, and if you fear death, you cannot be happy. So I'll conquer death for you, so you have nothing to fear. And then in verse 5, Jesus used a word that we don't really use much anymore, but he said, happy, blissfully happy, self-contained in their happiness, are those who are meek, for they will inherit the earth. Now, meekness isn't really something we talk about. It's not a word that we use. It's certainly not on your resume, I would suspect, but maybe meekness is something we should at least understand. And if it's something that leads to ultimate happiness, maybe we should strive for some meekness. And I got mixed up in my words there because we think meekness is weakness, but it is not. Meek is not weak. To be meek is to understand and embrace your role in God's creation. Another way to say it is, it's not all about you. When you're meek, you understand that life is not all about you, that life is not all about me, that I am not the center of the story, that I am not the centerpiece of all the things going on in my life. Meek people understand this is God's story. He is the star. He is the centerpiece. He is at the center of it all, not me. And I just have a role to play. I have a supporting role. I'm just part of the cast. Meek people understand this is God's creation, this is God's story, and we are blessed just to be a part of it. And it's not about us, and we don't need the spotlight, and we're not in charge, but God is. And if we would just be faithful in doing the little things that God has asked us to do, well, we would find ourselves growing in happiness. You see, meekness is not weakness. Meekness is the ability to say, life is not about me. My life is all about God. How can I support everything God is and everything God does with the way I live my life? Happy are those who are meek, for theirs is the kingdom of God, and they will inherit the earth. Truly happy people have embraced and understood and learned to be content with the fact that I just have a part to play in God's great big story. So today, go play your part and let God shine as the centerpiece of your life. See ya.